From GCU Stadium on the campus of Grand Canyon University, this is NCAA softball. It's game 2 of tonight's doubleheader as the host Lopes from Grand Canyon meet the Blazers of Dixie State. Well, hi everybody and welcome back to Phoenix. I'm Tim Wilhelm along with Braden Dorman. And Braden, a win for the Blazers in game 1. Maybe a little unexpected, but they just flat out took the game away from GCU.
Yeah, they were no slouch in game 1. They came out and played awesome on just about every facet of this game. And it really started with Tyler Denhart in the circle. Just gave up 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts and 2 walks. 100 pitches total, and she just got out of jams when she needed to and really kept that lineup off balance, specifically the top of the lineup for the Lopes, which has done so much damage all season.
Boy, that's the key. We talked about it during the broadcast, the fact that you keep Nicoletti and Dunkel at bay, 0 for 8 between the two of them at the top of the order, and without the table setters, made it a little bit tough to serve up the entree, and the Lopes accordingly come away with just 2 runs, one of their season low outputs. So, still comfortably on top of the conference race. It's one that you put behind you and say, well, let's go get this one and hopefully move one step closer to postseason in a positive way. So both teams looking to prepare themselves for the conference tournament. The Lopes will be the top seed. Perhaps, although Stephen F. Austin playing very well. So GCU and SFA 1 and 2 in the seeding department. And it could go one way or the other. There's still a lot of softball to be played. There's 2 remaining in the series and 3 next week, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right now, the Lopes' goal is to win 1 and to put the West division of the WAC in the books, and that did not transpire. So we'll go back to the drawing board and see what happens in game 2. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's second game.
Yeah, for Dixie State, Eldridge, Crawford, and Eubanks at 1, 2, and 3. Clements, Lockard, and Campbell at 4, 5, 6. Trapp, Almeida, and Duryea. It's the same lineup as game 1, and it sure did the job. The whole lineup, top to bottom, got on base, 9 hits total. And they came away with the win, so they're going to be looking to replicate that today.
Very few changes. In fact, really nothing discernible in the scorecard. Take a closer look at it. It's such a quick turnaround here with 30 minutes between games. Lopes are taking the field, and we're just now getting to the point of filling in the scorebook and being ready to roll. It looks like that is how they set up defensively for GCU. It's the huge, as they say. Kelso behind the plate, Torval, Dunkel, Barnes, and Chapman around the rim of the infield, third to first. In the outfield, Nicoletti left, center field is patrolled by Reed, and Fifield is in right. It's pretty much been that most every night of the season. Starting pitcher, J.C. Hambrick.
Yes, indeed. Hambrick looking to keep this lineup at bay, making her 28th appearance, 16th start. She's got a 2.86 ERA with 55 strikeouts to 30 walks. And over the 88 innings of work, has just given up 36 earned runs. She'll be tasked with getting this team back on track. And it starts with the clean top of the first.
J.C. Hambrick was credited with a win in a 6-inning game over Dixie State last month. 3 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, 3 earned, struck out 2, walked 1. Not a big punch-out pitcher. You'll see some strikeouts from Hambrick, 55 in 88 innings, but that's not her game. She just concentrates on getting people out. She's had a pretty good season as a result. JC 13 and 5 on the year, as you have heard. First pitch of the ball game is a strike to Casey Eldridge. Eldridge 2 for 4 in the first game, a single in the third and the fourth inning. This one goes to the screen. 1-1. Eldridge at 385, Crawford 325, Eubanks 372 as this very good offense stacks up for game 2. Bunt attempt is a foul ball. Nice play by Kelso anyway, though. Grab and spin and throw right on target. Well, you talk about the postseason and what it all entails. One of the players that will lead the way for you if you're the Lopes is Kinsey Kelso. Ground ball to shortstop. Dunkel.
Wow.
To Chapman. Good play by Caitlin Dunkel.
She got the large chopping ball to start it off, and then she just attacks the short hop. I don't even know if it got down or if she got her glove under it.
Got a glove.
God.
So one bounce. If that thing goes second hop, it's an infield single. So Dunkel prevents Eldridge from reaching base. 1 out to Casey Crawford. Crawford 0 for 4 in the first game. Lefty-righty matchup. Grounded out twice, hit the ball in the air twice. A pop up to first, a fly to left, and a couple grounders. One of the grounders, however, drove in a run in the 4th inning when Dixie scored 3 runs. That was the decisive inning as they won 4-2. 2-1 the count to Crawford with Eubanks left on deck. A few more fans have showed up for this one. It was very quiet at points during the first game. If you joined us late, school is out. And the troops are MIA. Fly ball foul slicing away down the left field line. Great effort from Nicoletti in foul territory.
As always, there's never a safe foul ball in left field.
You look at Kelso there, and you see her behind the plate most every inning of every game. And what a leader she is. Fly ball to center field, fading his read, and is there to make the catch. The wind is not significant starting this game. The flag is off the pole in right, but nothing too terribly dynamic. We had a few moments of gusting in the first game. But typically the wind diminishes here after dark. There's a strike to Eubanks, 0-1. 2 out, nobody on, top of the first inning, game 2. Lined at third, through Torval. Ball hit hard right at Savannah. It looked like it just went through her. Maybe through the wicket, don't know. Check that out on the replay. Not sure that she even touched the ball.
Nonetheless, Eubanks staying hot. On base 3 out of 4 times. She had 2 singles. This time she gets the double.
Yeah, I think it went right through the legs. Don't think she touched the ball. Give Eubanks a double. Run in scoring position for Clements. Clements 1 for 4 in the first game.
She did her job in the cleanup spot, but she also had a great game in right field, making a couple crucial catches to end some innings in the 5th and 6th.
Indeed. Key plays. Quick first step, racing into the gap in right center. Couple of backhand catches to stymie the Lopes. Ground ball to the left side. Dunkel goes to third base the easy way, and the tag is made. 6-5 on the putout. Side retired. Nothing across, top of the first. GCU softball on ESPN+.
Collins inbounds the ball to Clifton. Clifton finds Witter under the basket. Kick it up to Kimberly for a long three. Shazam! And you can put this one in the icebox. Sanderson Ford has just won another championship. Congratulations to Sanderson Ford. This all-star team consistently wins by treating customers the right way. No hassles, no pressure, no nonsense, no added markups. While new vehicle inventory is on the rebound, we have hundreds of pre-owned vehicles starting under $12,000. For a true championship experience, see my friends at Sanderson Ford.
Sunrise, waking up lonely, big sky, where am I going? I don't know, I don't know. You take me for what I am, love pure and simple. In this wild life, I've been living in a million pieces. You are the best part. In this wild life, I've been living in a million pieces.
We're your neighbors, and we're sports fans, huge fans. So come on over. It's game time. There's plenty of food and everything else we know you love. You choose your favorite games to watch and hear. We're your home for sports, Arizona. So join us today at CAZ Sports Bar at Casino, Arizona.
Bottom of the first inning, Gianna Nicoletti will lead it off.
Well, it's plain and simple. It's the same starting lineup here. Nicoletti, Dunkel, Fifield, Chapman, Kelso Reed, Burnett, Tourville, and Barnes. They put together 2 runs last game. They're going to look to, break the bats out here in game 2 and even this series up.
Well, Gianna Nicoletti was shut down in game 1. That just doesn't happen. 0 for 4.
We thought she had a hit on her last at bat. Laid a bunt down. They said she was out of the box, which was part of the theatrics of that last inning. But yeah, according to the stat book, she's looking to get back in the hit column.
No balls and 2 strikes for Gianna, batting .397, dipped under .400 as a result of that offer. There's a bouncing ball off the glove of the third baseman. That's a base hit. So start for Gianna, who will erase the memory of game 1. And the Lopes with a leadoff runner aboard. That's more like it. That's the way it has happened so often in 2022. And here's Dunkel, another one who was closed out 4 straight times by Tyler Denhart. In the first game, Dunkel, a couple balls on the ground, a pop-up and a fly-out. Takes a strike, 0-1. Dunkel still over 400. 408 is the batting average, 51 base hits. Nicoletti, the team leader in that department now with 59 on at first base. They check, and she did not go. Well, all kinds of base running heroics for Nicoletti. First in the nation in stolen bases per game. Coming into the day, second in the country in stolen bases with 43. There she goes. The pitch is swung on and popped up. Over goes Almeida to make the catch. Scurrying back to first base is Nicoletti. Dunkel is retired.
Oh, Carissa Burgess on the mound for game 2 for Dixie State, making her 16th appearance, 9th start. She got a 7.68 ERA, 34 strikeouts and 29 walks, so she's going to need to locate today. but she's going to have to be careful with this lineup. Already one down, one on here in the first.
The pitch misses. The throw not in time. Stolen base for Nicoletti. She is now just 2 stolen bases away from tying the WAC single season record.
It kind of seems inevitable that she will.
Well, you think so. There's still 5 games to go. And that is her 44th stolen base. Popped up shallow center field. It's going to be caught by Almeida at shortstop. Kind of a, I got it, you take it between Almeida, the shortstop, and Eldridge, the second baseman. But Fifield is retired on the infield fly, or the pop fly on the infield. It was not an infield fly rule. You see Almeida almost muffed that one.
Well, if anyone was watching the first game, similar thing happened where the ball ended up dropping in between the 3 defenders. Other than that, though, I mean, Almeida has been fantastic at shortstop. We've gotten used to watching Caitlin Dunkel, if you're a Lopes fan.
2 out. Nicoletti at second base. Infield single and a steal has put her there, but Dunkel and Fifield have popped to short. Here's Chapman. Danae 1 for 3 in the first game with a home run. Also a walk. 1-1 the count. Chapman batting .386. Here comes the 1-1 from Burgess. Fly ball to right. Clements makes the catch. Side retired. Lopes get the lead off runner on. Usually means good things, but not in this particular circumstance. Side retired. Scoreless through 1. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Lucky for me, there's some great golf here in the Carolinas. Whether you golf or not, Geico could help you score. I've travelled all over, telling folks they could save by bundling home and car insurance.
We love our new apartment.
There's too much pressure in the bathroom.
Good luck with the future.
I love my new home, but it might be too Victorian.
Gosh, interesting hemline on this.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
Black is not to be told.
It is to unfold.
Blackness in full and at home.
And at home.
In the Anscape.
Oh yeah, the first ball ceremony and a couple of dads and another individual representation for a player whose parent could not be here for the first ball ceremonies. Fun to see the relationships. Steph Reed's parents not here, so Kelly Schmidt from FCA, Fellowship Christian Athletes, represented for the Reeds. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. Laura Lockhart, leadoff single, top of the second inning. And Dixie State goes back to work. Rachel Campbell is next. Danae Chapman's dad, Lamar, is one of the participants, and also Marty Torville, Savannah's daddy, threw out the first ball. So 5 of them today. 2 in the first game, 3 in the second. There will be more tomorrow, we anticipate, as we recognize seniors playing their final home weekend. Man, it's hard to believe we're saying that. This is it. Tomorrow's the final game here. In 2022, we'll be on the air a little bit before 1 o'clock. Well, probably 12:55. We hope you'll join us for that one. But that's then. This is now. 0-2 is the count to Rachel Campbell. Campbell in the first game struck out twice, walked and singled. 1 for 3.
Brought home that 4th run.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 1 for Jace Hambrick. Here's Oakley Trapp. Trapp 1 for 2 first game, hit by a pitch and scored a run. Swing and a miss.
Hambrick finding that strike zone. A lot better pace than Ariel did in game 1. Look for Ariel to rebound potentially tomorrow for the final game of the series.
1-2. Well, the Lopes looking to rebound after a loss in game 1. We haven't said that a lot this year because, well, they've only lost 11 games. (33-11). What a season for GCU.
And that one was very close to a strike. Wasn't where Kelso was set up, but sure seemed like the ball may have gotten across the plate.
Fouled off. Count remains 2-2 to Oakley Trapp. Batting .236. Among her 25 hits, 9 for extra bases. A double. Well, 7 doubles and 2 home runs. Off speed. Thought about it. Took a little bit high. And the jelly leg wanted to go. Wait. Took it. Running the count full, 3-2. Lauren Almeida is on deck. Hit high in the air to right center. Fading is Fifield and Reed. It drops between them and goes off the fence. Stand-up double for Oakley Trapp. Split the outfielders just perfectly. A little bit one way or the other, and then that ball would have been caught. You can see where they both were.
I think both of them trying to avoid a collision may have held them from getting their glove on that ball. Hambrick gonna have to battle back now with just the 1 out, 2 in scoring position.
Well, you don't want a collision. That's one thing that is a massive factor in any very fine season, and that is injury circumstances. And great seasons usually are not impacted by injury, at least not in a major degree. And you look at this Lopes team, and you see the same players out there every day. It's been a very good run. Pitch is inside, just off the edge. Pretty good spot. 2-1. The fans grousing a little bit at the home plate umpire, Dale Wilson.
Definitely a tighter strike zone than game one. You're gonna have to get used to it. It's probably not gonna change.
Jerry Carter at first base. Ground ball to shortstop. They hold the runner. The throw to first. And everybody scampers back. Ball handled well by Dunkel. Looked the runner back. Went to first quickly. And on target. If you're going to try to run from third base and score on a play like that, it has to be on contact. You've got to be on the move immediately, or it's just not going to happen. So Hambrick, 1 out closer to escaping this second inning jam. 2 in scoring position for Duryea. No balls and 1 strike. Eldridge on deck. The pitch is swung on, hit into right center. That's going to go through and score 2. Off the fence, it's another double. And as occurred in the first game, has once again transpired in game 2. A lead for Dixie State. They score first in this one, a 2-out RBI double off the bat of Madison Duryea. 2 ribbies for Duryea. That is run batted in number 4 and 5. That's it for Duryea. She's late on the scene, but has played a role in this one now as a ground ball to shortstop. They tag the runner. On the way through, Dunkel makes the put out, but the damage done. 2 in. Lopes trail. Stay with us. More coming. Be right back.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
My garden is definitely my passion.
My garden is my creative outlet.
Find more ways to grow at miraclegrow.com.
What is this? Over 75 live channels for sports, news, and entertainment, just like cable.
Hulu has live TV.
Bottom of the second inning, Lopes trailing by a pair as Dixie State jumps out early. Fly ball foul off the bat of Kelso. First name Kinsey. What leadership she has provided behind the plate. We were talking about it a little bit in the first game. When you get into postseason and they call it playing under the bright lights. You need some leadership. Well, Kelso's one who could shed some light and calm some nerves with her feedback. Played on a national championship team at Oklahoma before coming here. Ample experience with the big stadiums and the big crowds and what to expect and what to do, what not to do. Pitch is grounded to the third base side, scooped by Lockhart. Throw to first is in time. Here's Steph Reed.
Just jammed Kinsey up there. right to third baseman. Takes quick care of it.
Do you know what song that is, Braden?
Here's the thing, Tim. I'm really, really bad at names of songs. I've heard that song 100 times, 1,000 times.
Yes, 1,000 times. You know.
Oh, is it? You can just say it, but.
Spirit in the Sky.
Yep.
By Norman Greenbaum. I'm not sure what it's worth to know that, but if it's worth anything, I'm a wealthy man. That song's been around since the 70s, and I've heard it more at baseball stadiums in the last 10 or 15 years than I did the whole time it was a hit.
Huh.
It's a very common musical theme. Walk-up music. Did you have a walk-up song?
Not really. Unfortunately, my high school just didn't really do walk-up songs.
1-2 pitch, pop foul off the bat of Reed. It remains 1-2.
The one song I can think of that I'm almost positive I had was by Drake. You ever heard of Drake?
I know Drake. Yeah.
God's Plan by Drake.
Have you heard of Drake?
Hey, yeah.
Ball is whacked into the gap. That thing is rattling off the wall and off the defender, and steaming into second base is Stephanie Reed with a ringing double. She smoked that one. Got all of the softball on that one. Watch this cut. Whack. Yeah.
Well, she knew it. Double out of the box. Gets there in time, standing up. Stephanie Reed hit the ball really well in game one. Just couple right to the left fielder. Finally got a single on her last at bat. And it's showing here in game two. See if her luck maybe goes up a little bit here.
Well, the Lopes didn't have a whole lot of offense, obviously, in the run department in the first game. Foul ball, third base side off the bat of Burnett. And it's 0-1. And the hits were very clearly spread out. Just didn't come in the right sequence. 9 hits, but just the 2 runs. Looking to answer the 2 put up on the board in the top half of this inning, at least get 1 back. And Burnett takes low 1-1. I will admit I don't have a Drake album at my house. Or a download. That's old school to say that. I should say that.
I was going to say.
Yeah, that kind of dated me right there, didn't it?
Sure did.
Yeah,
sure
album.
Did.
I don't have a 45. No, I don't have a download of that on my phone. Throw to first base. Burnett is out. Throw to third base. Not in time. Reed moves up. I walked into that.
Hey, at least you recognized it.
Thank you. Here's Savvy Torville. Torville 1 for 3 in the first game. Sharp single to left field. Well, another one of those would bring home a run. Lopes trailing by 2. Bottom of the second. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Pitch well inside. Well inside. Torville with some real gifts. You would think that the numbers would be more in her favor, but they just haven't been. It's been better in conference than pre-conference. But the overall batting average right now for the senior third baseman is .244. 1-1, outfield straight away and fairly deep. Pitch off speed, strike up in the zone at the letters. 1-2.
Well, we've seen flashes of what she is capable of, and she's in the lineup day in and day out because Coach Shannon Hayes knows what she is capable of. So it's just a matter of time, and hopefully she can get going right before this postseason.
1-2 pitch. Hit to the first base side. Soft liner off the end of the bat, and Eubanks makes the catch. For the third out, the Lopes get a hit, but strand them. And nothing doing, bottom of the 2-zip. We'll be back.
We love our new apartment.
There's too much pressure in the bathroom.
Good luck with the future in-laws tonight.
Don't overthink it.
But don't underthink it.
At least Geico makes bundling our renters and car insurance easy.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
Scores and stats make you wanna get that. It's only for everything, the ESPN app.
We are back. Top of the third inning. Plate umpire Dale Wilson was ready to go, and the first base umpire said, no. Jerry Carter let him know we had to wait for the TV cameras. And so now we are back and underway. Teams that like to play fast, that's all very well and good. We're in favor of fast here in the press box. We like that. We like games that move along. However, we are also indebted to those who provide an opportunity, a platform for these schools to be seen. And you play by the rules, and that is you wait for television to give you the all clear. It's the way it works. Like it or not, the pitch misses. Ball 4. Leadoff batter aboard. That's Casey Crawford who takes her base. And here's Hannah Eubanks.
See Hambrick visibly frustrated. I mean, the first 3 weren't even close, and then that last one she probably wanted, but she's got to be more consistent around the strike zone.
There's a strike. Well, Stephen F. Austin lost today. So the Lopes didn't fall any in the 1 and 2 seed category. Sam Houston, a winner over SFA. Eubanks grounds it foul past head coach Randy Simpkins, who waves it on down the line. No balls and 2 strikes. Lamar over Tarleton today. Seattle won 8-0 over Utah Valley. Seattle, a clear number 2 in the WAC West. Bouncing ball past Torval at third base into left field. First two batters have reached base. A walk followed by a ground single. Crawford to second and stops there.
Well, Hugh Banks protecting the plate. Outside, maybe a strike. She still had to protect it and just took it the other way. Went with the pitch, finds a hole, and once again there's base runners crowding these base paths and still 0 outs. This has been a consistent and constant theme in these 2 games today.
Well, we'll see what Randy Simpkins has in mind with runners at first and second. Nobody out. They went to the sacrifice bunt twice in game 1. Utilized it effectively, successful both times. Shea Clements is your cleanup hitter. Do you ask her to put a bunt down? Well, she has 2. Ball 1. Now time will be stopped again. This time it's Shannon Hayes involved in the conversation. He jogs to the circle. California Baptist over New Mexico State today, 9-6. Well, the Dixie State win is probably an eyebrow raiser for some around the WAC.
Also for Grand Canyon, baseball leads 8-6 in the top of the 9th. They've got runners on second and third, no outs, so they may add to that lead before going to the bottom. They are in Orem, Utah Valley. Got to be one of the prettiest baseball parks out there. I mean, just in the middle of a mountain range. Pretty cool. Scenic.
Well, we want to stay on top of that game. That's a big result. Lopes trying to hold.
And
oh
Coach
boy.
Hayes.
That was close right there.
Some point you got to stand up for your team, and I know there's been a good amount of calls early in this game that have not gone their way, especially in the strike zone. I don't know if he tossed him or not, or just a warning.
Well, typically an umpire will do a sharp U-turn like that when a manager or a coach or a player says something to him. But in this case, that means the umpire said something that caused Shannon Hayes to pivot on his heel and look right back. So some tempers flaring a little bit. 1-0 is the count. There's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, Wilson was at first base in the first game, and there were a couple of plays down there that were to some degree contentious. So maybe there was some carryover. Don't know. That's a strike. 2-1. And there are occasions when coaches will try to fire up their team.
Absolutely.
And the Lopes need some firing. They've appeared flat throughout the afternoon and into the early evening. Ground ball to the shortstop side off the glove of Dunkel. She slows it down. That loads the bases. It's another base hit. Single for Clements.
That one's in the 6th hole. I mean, that would have been a great play if Dunkel could have stopped that and somehow gotten it out. Chances are, even if she gloves that one, everybody's safe. So now they got the infield in, probably going home with it on a ground ball.
Well, you're down 2-0, and Truth be known, Dixie State on the threshold of a big inning prospectively. And the way things have been going offensively for GCU throughout the day, can't really afford to get too far down. The Lopes were down last week. In game 3, 6-3. In fact, it was 6-1 against New Mexico State last Saturday, and then came back with a vengeance and won 14-6 in 5 innings. So certainly not to be overly distressed about the circumstance. However, now you're about to dig yourself a deeper hole as a 3-0 pitch comes in, swinging strike. So allowed to go on a 3-0 pitch, Lockhart waves through it. Bases are loaded, nobody out for Dixie State. Pitch is inside, ball 4. That forces in a run. And the merry-go-round continues as everybody moves up 60. Crawford comes home. RBI to Lockhart on the walk. Clements to second base. Eubanks to third.
Lockhart's had herself quite the day. 2 singles, a walk, and a sacrifice bunt in game 1. Now a single and a walk in game 2.
Campbell takes a strike, and she didn't like the call. So both teams a little frustrated with Dale Wilson. There's another strike. And now you can hear the Dixie State fans. Randy Simpkins put his head down and his hands on his knees in the third base coach's box. Now he wants to call a timeout. Offensive timeout again, second time in the inning.
A lot of time being called, especially in this inning. See if she can rebound here on this 0-2 count. She didn't like either of them.
Well,
I guess the thing is, if calls are a little inconsistent, nobody's gonna like them. Because if they've seen a pitch called a ball earlier in the game and then it's called strike, somebody's gonna be mad.
Well, at the rate we're going, we may end up having someone asked to leave the game before its conclusion. Ground ball to shortstop. Dunkel goes to the plate, and it's dropped by Kelso. The throw was off a little bit. It was a little low, and Kelso tried to backhand it and keep her foot on the dish for the force play and was unable to handle that. So everybody's safe, moves up. Watch the play. See where the throw was on the backhand side, just a little bit low. Tried to turn the glove around and couldn't gather it in. So what should have been a force play is an error. Well, we'll call it an E6 on the throw. Lockhart to second. Clements to third. Eubanks brings home the third run of the inning, and now's a back pick at third base, and everybody moves up again. Error charged to Kelso.
And really, I mean, clearly nothing going right now for the Lopes.
Nothing.
And what you can't do is compound that. with unforced errors. And that's what they're doing right now. Now they find themselves in a sticky situation. Now just how can you stop the bleeding?
Indeed. It's exactly what you need to do. Campbell to second, Lockhart to third, Clements home on the error. Second error of the inning. 3 runs in, it's now 5-0. There's a swing and a miss. It gets by the catcher. And the runner goes to first base and is out just in time on the throw. Kelso to Macy Barnes covering. Boy, the Lopes are coming apart at the seams. It's like everybody needs a timeout. Oh, wait a minute. We've had 3 of those already in the inning. 2 offensive and 1 trip to the mound. We've had 2 errors, an argument, infield hits, ground ball to third base, foul.
And in that case, Lopes actually getting lucky that Trapp wasn't fully sprinting to first base. Didn't even know that the base wasn't occupied. They actually get the out. Take advantage of that now if you can. However, you got to be careful with the batter up to the plate.
Randy Simpkins checking on the well-being of his batter as Warren Almeida fouled that off of her foot. Madison Duryea on deck. A weird inning. There's a strike. The difficulty with umpiring is it's just not that easy. A lot of people grouse at umpires, but it's not easy to do. And as a matter of fact, as pop out is gathered in by Barnes at second base, second out of the inning. As you say, Braden trying to minimize the damage, limit the damage. Well, there's 3 in, but there's 2 more in scoring position. 5-0 is not optimal, but it's better than 7 if you're the Lopes. So Hambrick trying to get out of it, but that's trouble, and that's gone. A 3-run home run off the bat of Maddie Duryea. She circles the bases. 3-run bomb for Duryea, her first home run of the season.
Well, 8-0 is actually even worse than 7-0.
Yes, it is.
And that was a no-doubter off the bat. Just needed to stay fair, and it just barely did.
Lockhart and Campbell come home before her. Wow. What an inning. 6 runs in. Shannon Hayes makes a pitching change. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Who knows what can happen? It's 8-0. We'll be right back.
I've travelled all over, telling folks they could save by bundling home and car insurance. But here's the real secret. Eye contact. We just had a moment.
Geico.
I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
Back to play we go. Kyla Eastburn has come on to pitch. Casey Eldridge, the 9th batter in the inning.
And if you're viewing from home, he missed the first pitch. It was a strike, so now 0-2 count.
Or you could be viewing from your car.
Yes, that's a good point.
Or the restaurant, waiting room. Ground ball to third, scooped by Torval, throws her out. And mercifully, the inning comes to an end. Good grief. 6 runs in the third for Dixie State. 8-0. Stay with us.
Everything you desire.
You got what I'm looking for. You got everything that I want. My sugar and gold.
Everything you hunger for.
Take me to a higher place. Show me all your magic ways.
Nothing you ever expected. Welcome to Thosh at Talking Stick Resort. Play in style.
Collins inbounds the ball to Clifton. Clifton finds Whitter under the basket. Kick it up to Kimberly for a long 3. Shazam! And you can put this one in the icebox. Sanderson Ford has just won another championship. Congratulations to Sanderson Ford. This all-star team consistently wins by treating customers the right way. No hassles, no pressure, no nonsense, no added markups. While new vehicle inventory is on the rebound, we have hundreds of pre-owned vehicles starting under $12,000. For a true championship experience, see my friends at Sanderson Ford.
Bottom of the third inning underway, and the Lopes have work to do, Braden Dorman.
They sure do. I mean, there's no going back from giving up 6 in the third. Now you just got to chip away if you're this Lopes lineup. And that was maybe an attempt at finding something new, maybe a bunt. She left it outside. Still called a strike. And I mean, another thing. Today, nothing's gone the Lopes' way. And a lot of stuff just they have not been able to control.
0-2 pitch. Way outside. Well, the thing that happens is, you know, umpires are humans. And they're generally pretty good at their craft. They wouldn't be here, quite frankly. I mean, there is training and there's, well, a system and there's a process. How you move up the ladder, a looping ball to shortstop, gloved by Lauren Almeida. Barnes retired, top of the order to Nicoletti. But umpires are like me, like you. They have bad days. The old story about umpires was they were expected to be perfect to begin with and then improve from there.
Right.
And we laugh about that, but fans and coaches and players, they kind of take to that, they subscribe to that theory. And that is to say, sometimes fans don't like to admit this, but sometimes umpires are not wrong when a call goes against you. Ball is lined down the left field line. That's fair in the corner. And Nicoletti will have a double, and Nicoletti will have a triple.
And we'll see if that sparks anything in that dugout. She's sure trying to get her team fired up. Maybe lead to a string of hits. Find a way to chip away. That's Nicoletti in a nutshell right there. Look at that speed and the little pop-up slide. That's how you do it.
Boy, you know, she's rounding second base, and she looks and sees the left fielder is picking the ball up. And there's no hesitation. It's a triple. As soon as she hits it, she knows she's going for 3. And the Lopes now can score a run on an out. Well, they'll score it on an out. Fly ball to right. Caught by Shea Clements. And the Lopes are on the board because of the speed of Gianna Nicoletti. Taking third instead of holding up at second. Still aggressive base running. And the Lopes are on the board. Sacrifice fly credited to Dunkel. It's 8-1. Well, you can't hit an 8-run homer, so you can't get to 8 until you get to 1. And the Lopes have done that. And now we'll see where the comeback goes from here. For Dunkel, run batted in, number 47. Fifield takes outside off the edge. The thing is, when an umpire is having a bad game around the strike zone or with respect to the strike zone, teams get frustrated very easily because they don't know what is going to be a strike. They just wait to hear. And when things are clicking, and it's a good game for everybody, umpire, catcher, pitcher, batters, there is no bickering because you know what a strike is. That's the biggest beef a coach will have with an umpire. That's a strike. Three and 1 is the count. But again, some of that might have been a little bit of boil over from the first game. Foul back. Hayes carrying on a conversation with third base umpire Matthew Jacks, who was behind the plate in the first game, chatting as the game is in progress.
Safe to say he's not too happy right now. It's understandably so.
Sharing thoughts. Pop fly out towards center field, and it's gloved by Almeida. Side is retired. The Lopes get 1. They trail by 7. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We love our new apartment.
There's too much pressure in the bathroom.
Good luck with the future in-laws tonight.
Don't overthink it.
But don't underthink it.
At least Geico makes bundling our renters and car insurance easy.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
My garden brings us together.
My garden is my therapy.
Find more ways to grow at miraclegrow.com.
We are back indeed. It's the 4th inning, and the Lopes are trailing by 7. The pitch from Eastburn in relief of Hambrick is a strike. 0-1 to Casey Crawford. Well, Crawford started the mess in the 6th inning. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. Here we go again.
It doesn't get easier from there. So we are in the heart of the order. Eubanks got 2 hits. Clemens got a hit. Walker's got a hit. But Eastburn in relief, as you said, for the 2nd game in a row. Fortunately for her, she's usually coming into some not so great situations when she does come in. So she's good about making the best of it here.
Well, that messy 3rd inning included some unearned runs. Have to get the calculator out to figure that one out. My guess is at least 2. Well, there we were bragging about the Lopes' great defense just a little while ago, and up jumps the devil. 2-0 is the count to Eubanks, with Crawford at first. Pitch is a little bit high and outside, ball 3. Eubanks doubled in the 1st, singled and scored in the 2nd. That 2nd inning, or 2nd run scoring inning, which was the 3rd actually, there's a strike. Boy, that was only 1 inning ago. Seems like it was a lot earlier. That was just the last inning. That was the 3rd. We're in the 4th. Foul ball, 3rd base side. Nicoletti going hard into foul territory and catches up with it for the putout. The first 5 batters in the last inning reached base. Walk, single, single, walk, error. And then a throwing error on a pickoff attempt compounded things. Fly ball to right, going hard toward the line, diving and unable to make the catch is Fifield. Good effort. Just couldn't close the mitt around it. Base hit for Clements. Stopping at 2nd base is Crawford.
Well, Trailblazers getting hits in every which way. This time, not great contact, but finds a hole. Fifield would have made an amazing catch if that one had stayed in the glove.
Braden, this is a game, this is what the Lopes have been doing to other teams all season long.
That's a good point.
And it's coming home to get them. Hasn't happened home or away, but it's more painful when it's at home. 1-1 is the count to Lockhart.
Win or lose, I mean, this one's going to hopefully wake them up a little bit and remind them that anything can happen on any given day, whether they are the better team or not.
Boy, that's the truth, and the reality is that should the Lopes go down in this one, if I'm Shannon Hayes, I meet with the team afterwards in left field, which he will, and it'll be lengthy. But I would just have to say one thing. There's a pop fly out on the left field side. Boy, good play by Reed. She covered a lot of ground to get there to make that catch. It didn't look like Dunkel was going to get there. So Reed, it was either that or another hit. It looked like she tweaked her ankle a little bit, flexing that right foot. Up and down, still doing it in center field. See if she's okay.
Definitely an awkward play, and I think she just wanted to avoid the collision there. Dunkel bailed because she called it, but she was still there. Her presence still had Reed thinking about her. Still makes a play. Hopefully she'll be all right.
Looked like Sandy Wente started to make her way to center field. Assistant coach Reed waves him off, says, "I'm okay." Swing and a miss. So if I'm Shannon Hayes, I meet with my team after the game. If they lose this game, and all you have to say is this: if this had been a conference tournament day, we would be eliminated and on our way home. If this is a regional, we are now eliminated and on our way home. You have trouble explaining that to players until they experience a little adversity. Now, this game's not over. I mentioned the Lopes last week against New Mexico State, trailed 6-1. Came back and won going away. A 2-run inning, a 5, a 4, and another 2. It was 14-6 final. Ground ball to third. Steps on the bag, does Torval, and the side is retired. So we've put a 0 back on the board. Second time tonight that's happened, but there's been runs in the other 2 frames. 8-1. Lopes down. Stay with us. See what happens.
I've travelled all over, telling folks they could save by bundling home and car insurance. But here's the real secret. Eye contact. We just had a moment.
Geico.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Jr. with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
Let's be honest. Bottom of the 4th inning, and the Lopes are trailing by a touchdown. It's 8-1 Dixie State. Danae Chapman will lead it off. Kinsey Kelso on deck, and then Steph Reed. 4, 5, 6.
Well, when you're trailing by a touchdown, you sure got to put together a couple great plays, and I think those plays are going to kind of equate to base runners for the Lopes today. So it's going to start with getting people on base, and then you got to drive them home.
Well, they've been out of sync, haven't they? Just hasn't clicked.
And the extra base hits that this team has put together, I don't know if there's been anybody on base when they've occurred today. Think of the Nicoletti triple. You think of Chapman's solo homer in the first game. Kelso's double. Reed's double. I don't think anybody was on base for any of those.
Well, that starts with being able to get Nicoletti and Dunkel out. And they were 0 for 8 in the first game. Nicoletti has been on twice in this game. But in game one was not a disaster. It was 4-2. It was a game you could have won. This game is significantly more consequential in terms of the grand scheme of things. It's 1 and 2 to Danae Chapman. But let's remember, the Lopes are 33 and 11. They've clinched a tie in the WAC West. One win will wrap it up. Could come today, could come tomorrow. Everybody hits a bump on the road. I'll say this, that if your team is going to find some trouble, it's better this weekend than next weekend. Got time to right the ship. Foul ball.
Or two weekends from now.
Or two. You just don't want to be on a downslide going into postseason. One team not on a downslide right now is baseball. The Lopes won tonight at Utah Valley by a score of 13-6.
Put together a nice 9th inning. 5 runs. They were up 8-6 going into the 9th.
Play again tomorrow afternoon at 1, Sunday at 11. Ground ball to the right side, backhanded by Carly Eldridge, and she throws out Danae Chapman. 1 gone to Kelso. Now the Lopes are 29 and 14, baseball team we're talking about. RPI number 31. And you can't afford to lose, really, because of the overall RPI of the conference. It's not where it needs to be. Lopes clearly the standard bearer. And so their 31 RPI is on the strength of their non-conference achievement. 2 wins over Texas Tech, and yeah, victories over Arizona on the road, Arizona State on the road,
Oregon State on the road.
Oregon State in Corvallis, right? You are. Foul ball is unable to be handled by catcher Rachel Campbell.
And now Stanford.
And Stanford on a neutral field, but away from home. And when you calculate RPI, those are more weighted in your favor when you do it away from your home digs. And the Lopes have done it. But when you lose a game to a team that's ranked 130 or 210 or 205, whatever it is, that really dings you. And that's when RPIs go down. Well, you're at 31. And you can drop to 60 real fast if you lose to some folks that you shouldn't be losing to. This is where the great teams emerge in college baseball. Now 16-3 in the WAC. Pop foul.
Yeah, same as the softball team now, which is pretty impressive.
Very impressive indeed. Baseball team has the 2nd best ERA for a Grand Canyon team in 16 years of Division I baseball. So some pitching is there that can help you big time in postseason. It's all about pitching and defense. There's a strike 3 swinging. Kelso down, 2nd out. Here's Steph Reed. Same is true in softball, pitching and defense.
Well, Chapman and Kelso put together 2 pretty lengthy at-bats here in this 4th inning. Fouled quite a few off, both ending with outs, though. How about the pitcher, Carissa Burgess, who came in here with the worst ERA out of all their starters. And she's going right along with the theme of things going right for your team, if you're the Trailblazers.
Well, that pitching and defense theme has proven to be the case for Dixie State today. 1-2-3 inning. Side retired. 5 in a row retired by Burgess. 8-1 through 4. Stay with us.
We're your neighbors, and we're sports fans. Huge fans. So come on over. It's game time. There's plenty of food. And everything else we know you love. You choose your favorite games to watch and hear. We're your home for sports, Arizona. So join us today at CAZ Sports Bar at Casino, Arizona.
This is gonna be tough. I mean, that's a bag full of Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwiches with tangy buffalo sauce and creamy buttermilk ranch, melty Monterey Jack cheese, and 3 crunchy chicken strips. How long will you have to wait before you enjoy yours? Oh, about that long. Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich is back for a limited time. Just like you like it.
Collins inbounds the ball to Clifton. Clifton finds Whitter under the basket. Kick it up to Kimberly for a long 3. Shazam! And you can put this one in the icebox. Sanderson Ford has just won another championship. Congratulations to Sanderson Ford. This all-star team consistently wins by treating customers the right way. No hassles, no pressure, no nonsense, no added markups. While new vehicle inventory is on the rebound, we have hundreds of pre-owned vehicles starting under $12,000. For a true championship experience, see my friends at Sanderson Ford.
Pitching change for the Lopes. Kennedy Megorian comes in from the pen.
Yeah, the freshman out of Forest Hill, California, making her 7th appearance on the season. She got a 1-0 record with a 6.46 ERA. Just giving up 4 earned runs through 4 1/3 innings pitched. Limited experience, but hey, here's an opportunity to come in here and keep this game at an 8-1 score in the top of the 5th. And hey, she's also looking for her first career collegiate strikeout. Be an impressive feat, especially against this lineup, Dixie State, the way they're hitting the ball tonight.
Eight to 1, GCU trailing. Yes, trailing if you tuned in. The Lopes 33-10 coming into the day today. On the verge of losing a pair at home to Dixie State. GCU needs a rally. They could be running out of time. The new pitcher, Megorian, delivers ball 1 and now ball 2 to Oakley. Trap followed by Almeida and Duryea. Pitch is outside, ball 3. The reality for GCU is a little harsh in that should Dixie State score a couple runs, or even just 1 here in the top of the 5th, the Lopes are in danger of being run-ruled in their own crib. And a mercy game at home would be pretty tough to take. So Megorian's charge is to put up a 0 and get this game into the late stages where the Lopes have more time to rally. Swung on and grounded foul. Boy, that ball looked like it was going to hit her. 3-2. Full count pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Trap down on strikes.
And there it is.
There you go.
First collegiate strikeout for Kennedy Megorian. Hopefully many more to come in this GCU uniform in the years to come.
1 out. Almeida, the batter. Good fight back for Megorian. Down 3-0, came back to get her. 1 out. Ball 1 to Almeida. Lauren Almeida 0 for 2, grounded to short and popped to second. She'd like to join the party. Two and 0. 7 of the 9 batters have reached base and scored a run for Dixie. Almeida is not one of them. Neither is Eldridge, the leadoff hitter. She's 0 for 3. Everyone else, though, busy. And Megorian drops behind again, 3-0 to the second successive batter. Throw pitch, there's a strike. Well, congratulations to women's golfer Siri Pachana, officially selected to compete in the Stanford Regional for women's golf. That's coming up May 9 through 11. Foul ball. Siri will compete with 5 other individuals. There's teams there, of course. GCU didn't make it as a team, but individuals are ordered up 2, and there's 6 of them total. Pachana joins golfers from San Francisco, Sac State, Nebraska, and 2 from Nevada. Full count pitch is ball 4. Almeida aboard for the first time, and here's Duryea. Looks like a runner. Is a runner.
Looks like 66. Sorry, game 1.
Right you are. Ellie Evans running for Almeida. You know, Siri Pachana is only a couple of good rounds away from advancing to the NCAA championships. The top 2 of those 6 individuals will make it. And you know where the championships are? They are at Grayhawk, right down the road from here in Scottsdale, the end of May. Wouldn't that be something?
Gotta imagine that would be a boost of confidence for her. Sure, she's played the course a time or 2.
Count on that. Want to know the count to Duryea. Checked her swing. Duryea with a 3-run home run to left field. It was down the line, cleared the bases, and put up runs 6, 7, and 8. 8-1 is where we stand. 2-0 pitch, fouled back. Men's golf team is at the WAC Championships at Boulder City right now, this weekend. Long course, too, 7,400 yards, which, you know, there's been wind advisories in that area. Off-speed pitch, strike, 2-2. Great, 7,400 yards and wind.
Yeah. And it never seems to be going in the direction you want it.
No, it's really amazing. It's mathematically impossible, of course, but it always feels like it's ahead in your face all the time. Ball 3 inside.
That one, they're calling a check swing. I don't know.
They won 2 tournaments this year, did the men. Their own tournament, also won one at Santa Barbara. Ball looped into right field. Out goes Macy Barnes to make the catch. 2 out, top of the order to Eldridge. Santa Barbara event is always a good one. So GCU kind of slipping into the consciousness of the collegiate golf world on the men's side. It's not an easy fraternity to crack. Check swing, the runner goes, the throw to second base goes into center field. Rounding second and going to third and making it with a slide is Ellie Evans. Stolen base, E2 on the throw. Lopes with another mistake.
Well, plenty of physical errors on the Lopes side of things today, but the mental errors have really gotten to him here in game 2 of this doubleheader. Nobody covering second base.
No balls and 1 strike. The pitch. Dribbled slowly out in front. The throw to first base is in time. And we are now at least going to play 7 innings. Because there's a 0 on the board in the top of the 5th inning. It's 8-1. Bottom 5 when we come back. Stay with us.
We love our new apartment.
There's too much pressure in the bathroom.
Good luck with the future in-laws tonight.
Don't overthink it.
But don't underthink it.
At least Geico makes bundling our renters and car insurance easy.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
The BK $5 Your Way meal is here to make your choice easy and so tasty. Go straight to the Double Whopper Jr. with piping hot small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a refreshing small drink. Can you believe you get all this for only $5? The $5 Your Way meal, only at Burger King.
Bottom of the 5th inning underway from Phoenix. I'm Tim Wilhelm along with Braden Dorman. We're happy that you're with us. If you're a Lopes fan, well, say your prayers. Your team is down by 7, bottom of the 5th. GCU sailing along with a wonderful season. 33-10 coming in. And things today have just gone south. On the Lopes. Lost the first game 4-2. Line drive caught by the third baseman. Laura Lockhart with the grab. Burnett denied. I put that in my book as an L5. Line out to third. 1 out.
Plays like that where maybe off the bat, the batting average expectancy would be pretty high, but goes right at a fielder. Make a good play on it.
6 in a row retired by Burgess, who under the circumstances has to be pitching her best game of the year from the numbers that we see on the stat sheet. Started 8 games, completed 1. May or may not complete this one, but she's held the first place team to just 1 run through 4 1/3. Torval level on the count, 1-1.
Yeah, Burgess coming into this game. 34 strikeouts, 29 walks. It had been an apparent problem. She was putting too many free runners on base. Tonight, just not the case. I mean, she's been hammering the strike zone. A lot of the times these batters for the Lopes have been battling to stay alive, protecting the plate.
Ball is spanked into right field. 1 out single for Torval.
Looks like we got a pinch hitter here. Angeli Aguilar-Bocage. And a hit for Macy Barnes.
She appeared briefly in the first game as a pinch runner.
See if she goes to second base as well.
Lopes have made some other defensive announcements. Some changes that we'll tell you about next time they're out there. Right now, offense is at hand. The pitch is outside. Aguilar-Bocage batting 140, 6 base hits this year in 43 at-bats. Couple of doubles, 6 runs batted in. Lopes need base runners. They don't need home runs or doubles or what have you. They need base runners. They trail by 7. There's a ball hit past Lockhart at third. Kind of took a bad hop over the glove of the third baseman. Give Bocage a base hit. Torval stops at second base. We'll look at it again.
The left fielder, number 24.
Well, we won't see the fielding play, but we will see Angie running down the line.
And another pinch runner, this time for Torville. Emma Villascusa take over at second base.
Second base, number 5, Emma Villascusa.
But yeah, here's your base runners. And if anybody else would add on to that, it'd probably be Gianna Nicoletti, who's walks up to the plate here. And then you've got your mashers, or at least the girls that have been smashing the ball so far this season.
Nicoletti has won 2 for 2 in this one. Bounces that one to shortstop. And the only play she could make, she does. Almeida heads up, goes right to the sack, and beats the pinch runner, Emma Villascusa, to third. Bad break for Nicoletti and the Lopes. That's an easy base hit for Nicoletti if there's not a force at third. But not to be. Fielder's choice for Gianna. She's aboard at first. Moving to second is Aguilar-Bocage. And Caitlin Dunkel will take her whacks. Well, you know, there's time if Dunkel gets into one. If she hits a gapper, it's 2 runs with Nicoletti at first base. 8-1 in favor of Dixie State. 0-1 pitch is hit up the middle. That's a base hit. That'll score 1. Rounding second and going to third is Nicoletti, and going into second base is Dunkel on the throw back to the infield. So the Lopes do get 1 more, and they inch a little closer. Aguilar-Bocage brings it home.
Number 20, the center fielder, Kristen Byfield.
RBI for Caitlin Dunkel is her second of the game. And for Dunkel, she has now taken over the lead in runs batted in. She has 48. Byfield and Chapman both with 47. Pitch is swung on and popped up. Calling it is Eldridge and Hughbanks, and Hughbanks says, "I'll take it," and does. Third out of the inning. The Lopes get 1 through 5. It's 8-2. GCU trailing by 6, but come on back. We'll see what happens.
I've travelled all over, telling folks they could save by bundling home and car insurance. But Here's the real secret. Eye contact. We just had a moment.
Geico.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
All kinds of changes for the Lopes as we go to the 6th inning. Fifield is in center field. Reed is out. And we will, well, be a little concerned about Stephanie Reed. She maybe tweaked an ankle a little bit on a play earlier in the game, and she's out for now. Stayed in at the time, but discretion being the best part of valor, give her some rest in a game like this. It's been a little bit ragged. Kennedy Magorian goes back to work and delivers ball 1. This is Crawford.
Other changes in the field. Angelique Aguilar-Bocage, second base now. Macy Barnes is out, and in right field is Emma Villascusa, moving Burnett from right to third base now. Torville is in the dugout defensively.
Burnett at third, Dunkel at short, Aguilar-Bocage at second, and Chapman at first. A different look, absolutely. In the outfield, ditto. Nicoletti is the only regular in the starting, among the starting 3 that's still out there. Fifield is moved over to center field, and Villascusa is in right. There's ball 4. From Magorian to Crawford. Leadoff walk brings to the plate Hannah Eubanks, who has 2 hits today, a double and a single. Also flied to left. Well, it's not a terrible exercise, as you and I have surmised between innings. You're getting some folks, some game action.
Well, whatever the plan was coming into today obviously didn't work out. So not always the worst thing to change it up, see what happens.
Ground ball to the left side, past lunging Burnett. It's a base hit all the way. Eubanks with her 3rd hit of the game. Crawford advances to second base, and Dixie State has just had people on base all night long.
Well, that's their 10th hit of the night. They've also been helped by 3 errors from the GCU defense and a plethora of walks.
It's been a forgettable Saturday, or rather Friday afternoon. So far. 1-0 is the count. Ball hit to center and deep. Back goes Fifield. It is out of here. Into the net in straightaway center field. A 3-run home run off the bat of Shea Clements. Didn't think it had the distance when it left the bat. Looked like extra bases, but it's extra bases. A 3-run homer. The second 3-run home run for the Dixie State Blazers in this one. And they're pouring it on. Scoring is Crawford. Scoring is Eubanks. Clements the third run. It's 11-2. And don't you know, around the WAC people are saying, what on earth happened? Well, sports. Things happen. 1-0 is the count to Lockhart.
Well, Eubanks and Clements in the 3 and 4 spots. 3 hits apiece. And Clements doing her best impression of cleanup. Straightaway center for that one.
Well, there's not really a lot you can say. But we're trying. We're trying to say it. You see Shannon Hayes in the picture there, just shaking his head at the near end of the Lopes dugout. Mary Beth Gorsuch, pitching coach. Fly ball to right and deep. Back goes Villascusa, and she makes the catch right on the edge of the warning track. 1 out for Campbell, so they get Lockhart.
Well, this one's looking to be a doubleheader sweep for Dixie State, and a couple takeaways is this lineup is scary. They are very capable of putting together hits, and timely hits at that, to bring runs in. And they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Well,
when
the
it does
Lopes
come to the WAC tournament.
GCU has seen a couple of teams in conference that can really swing the bats a little bit. They can make some things happen. So what it comes down to, again, not to belabor the point, but it comes down to pitching and defense. The Lopes have not hit at the right times tonight. They haven't hit in sequence. They've been out of sync. But they still hit. So you figure they're going to score some runs. Can and have all year. It doesn't go away. The numbers don't lie. The fact is, it comes down to pitching and defense. And today, the Lopes pitching and defense has been lacking. And when that happens in postseason, it's very difficult. And what happens, too, is there's a great amount of confidence being built in that first base dugout over there. Ball 4 puts Campbell on base. 1 out, a runner aboard, and Oakley Trapp is not coming up.
It's like Shaylee Jensen will pinch hit for her.
Shaylee Jensen, indeed. Jensen 0 for 10 on the season. Sophomore outfielder. Looking for her first hit.
Well, if there's going to be a day that happened, definitely could be tonight.
That's a good thought right there. If there's a time, this would be the place. It's just one of those games. But as a result of getting a sweep today, presuming that that does occur, and Dixie State is up 9 runs in the 6th. Should that happen, you know that if these two teams meet in the WAC tournament, it'll just be a matter of the Blazers saying, well, hey, throw out the records. It's the conference tournament. We just beat those guys twice at their place. So we know that we can beat them. And as a result of that, that's an intangible. It's a very significant intangible, too.
Well, minute at bat here. We're going to get another substitution. Annie
Villalobos is coming in to catch.
Still a 2-0 count. Still 1 out. Still 1 on. Like Kelso.
This is
up for tomorrow.
The equivalent of clearing the bench in a basketball game. Get the regulars out, get them some rest, make sure nobody gets hurt, or if anyone is hurting, that they don't injure themselves further. Save your pitching, ground ball to second. Throw to shortstop, covering. It is in time. Good dig over there by Dunkel. Aguilar Bocage threw it in at the shoe tops of Dunkel, and Caitlin went down and grabbed that thing. Let's watch. Kept her foot on the sack. Force out over there. Sends Campbell back to the dugout as out number 2. Jensen reaches on the fielder's choice. Almeida. 0-1. Ground ball slowly through the circle. Fielded by Dunkel. Over to Chapman, and the side is retired. Well, let's go to commercial. 3 more in the top of the 6th inning. 11-2 Dixie State. Stay with us.
Everything you desire.
You got what I'm looking for. You got everything that I want. My sugar and gold.
Everything you hunger for.
Take me to a higher place. Show me all your magic ways.
Nothing you ever expected. Welcome to Thosh at Talking Stick Resort. Play in style.
Welcome to Esporta Fitness. Premium fitness for as low as $9.99 per month.
Sunrise, waking up lonely, big sky. Where am I going? I don't know. You take me for what I am. Love pure and simple. In this wild life, I've been living in a million pieces. You are the best part. In this wild life, I've been living in a million pieces.
Bottom half of the 6th inning. Danae Chapman, Kinsey Kelso, and Steph Reed. 4, 5, 6 for the Lopes. Ground ball to the right side and through for a base hit for Chapman. Her first hit in this game. Her second hit today.
Number 13, Annie Villalobos.
Annie Villalobos inserted in Kinsey Kelso's spot midway through that top half of inning number 6. Now comes to the plate for the first time. Ball 1.
Good opportunity for these players that don't get as many at-bats throughout the season to get some experience, because you never know what'll happen when you move into that postseason. You'll never know when that moment comes where you have to step up and be ready.
Well, most coaches will tell you that you can't win a championship without somebody stepping up to do something special that you didn't count on. Someone just emerges in postseason or mid-season. Somebody gets hurt, somebody goes down, and the replacement comes in and goes gangbusters, and you can't coach that. It's an intangible. It just happens. Now we have another pinch hitter. Indeed, it is Jocelyn LaFlèche.
Now batting for GCU.
Batting for Steph Reed.
And if viewers were wondering about Reed potentially being hurt, she was ready to go and in the on-deck circle, so she's feeling fine. Just, again, getting the rest here until tomorrow's game. It's a good sign.
The Dixie State bus has arrived, unless they're leaving.
I was going to say, I think it's been in right field most of the game. Maybe going to a different location to pick up, maybe? I don't know.
They're going to the drive-thru to pick up the burgers, maybe. 0-1 is the count to LaFlèche. Batting for Reed, Jocelyn. 167 batting average, 2 for 12. Scored a run. Pinch runner for Chapman at first base.
Pinch runner for GCU now on first base, number 99, Brooke Owens.
Brooke Owens. Listed as a pitcher on the roster, and Brooke takes a spot on the bases. With 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning, the pitch is fouled off by LaFlèche. Bang, 1-2. I think you call this wholesale changes. Ground ball right back to the pitcher to second base. 1 to first, double play.
That's how you end it right there.
Well, that's the way to get it done. Ground ball back to the mound. Second base, 1, first base, double play. This one is in the books. It's an 11-2 final. However unexpected it may be, it's real. And the Lopes go down. 2 in the second, 6 in the third, 3 in the 6th for Dixie State. Lopes with 1 in the third, 1 in the 5th, but they lose it 11-2 and get swept. Final thoughts.
There's nothing went the Lopes way today, and that's all right. That's something that you can build on. No matter the outcome, you got to learn from it. Today, there's going to be a lot of learning lessons, and as you mentioned at some point during this broadcast, it's good it didn't happen a week or 2 weeks from now. Now they have time to figure some things out and get back on the right track, and what better time than tomorrow. And the final home game of the season for these Lopes, final home game of the careers of these seniors. See if they can bounce back and, you know, end this season at home on a good mark.
Well put in the books. Done deal. Lopes lose a pair. With the losses this afternoon, GCU drops to 33-12, 16-4 in the conference for Dixie State. Now 18-28, 8-12 in the conference. So we're done in this one. We'll be back game 3 tomorrow. And the games begins at 1 o'clock. We'll be on the air about 12:55 or so. Start checking in around 12:45, 12:50, and I'm sure you'll pick us up one way or the other. It's the third and final game of the series. The series has been clinched by Dixie State, but it's a big game tomorrow for both teams because, well, it always is when there's a game to be played. We want to thank Kelly Reynolds, our SID. Sitting to my left, she's the greatest. Producer Al Porteous, our director Leo Flores. Reminder, next broadcast tomorrow on the air about 12:50. Until then, thanks for being with us. Tim Wilhelm for Braden Dorman. Final score, once again, Lopes losing 11-2. Games airing on ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the app. From Phoenix, this has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night, everyone.